So I'm going to kick off the webinar. Again, thanks for joining today. My name is Jason Lehman. I'm the marketing team lead here at Fishbowl Solutions. And today I'll spend 30 minutes with you talking about Fishbowl's packaged tools for WebCenter automation, which we call Fishbowl Admin Suite. So with that, here's our agenda for today's discussion. So I'll start off giving a little bit of background on Fishbowl Solutions, who we are and what we do. I'll provide an overall look at the business problem that organizations are faced with today, specifically administrators, in regards to automating those common repetitive tasks in Oracle Web Center. And then I'll break that down by the solutions or the products that make up Admin Suite, including Enterprise Batch Loader, Workflow Solution Set, Subscription Notifier, and our Advanced User Security Mapping component. What those components do to help fill some of those functional gaps in Web Center, along with use cases for each solution, and then share how customers are using them. So some customer success stories will be included as well. So quickly on Fishbowl, we're a recognized leader in the Oracle Web Center space. We've been doing this for a long time, over 10 years now, designing, implementing, and supporting enterprise content management and portal systems to customers throughout North America and EMEA. We have value-add software components and services for Oracle Web Center. We've delivered those to over 100 customers in the last 2 years alone, and those solutions have brought us some awards as well, which we're very proud of, including recognition for some of our mobile applications that we've built out. And speaking of mobile solutions, here's some of our leading Web Center innovations. So we've been known for a long time in providing that value-add software and services for Oracle Web Center. We've extended those capabilities to many areas, but our current focus and differentiation are the products and services you see here, including solutions for mobile ECM, where we've extended Oracle Web Center capabilities to the iPhone, the iPad, and Android devices. Additionally, we have packaged offerings for enterprise portal and corporate intranets, helping organizations build and deploy those sites quickly while further leveraging their overall Web Center investment. Also have products like our Google Search integration, which is really a connector that exposes the power of Google Search within Oracle Web Center content. And then we also have packaged service offerings to help organizations, in this case, upgrade to Oracle Web Center content in 11G, helping them migrate their content, configure metadata and profiles, and then support that system going forward. So with that, a little intro on Fishbowl. Let's go ahead and dive in and talk about Admin Suite. So before I do that, I wanted to empathize a little bit with IT administrators and specifically Web Center admins. You're all dealing with unhappy users, you have pressure from management, you're putting out multiple fires daily. You have to deal with upgrades, patches, integrations, really that list can go on and on. So you're doing your best to deliver and maintain an optimized Web Center system, but it seems like little things keep getting in the way. These tasks that you're burdened with, they're repetitive. You're having to do them, multiple times a week, if not day. So you're not able to make Web Center what it should be and keep your users happy. So those little things for Web Center admins and super users, including having to perform those same tasks, like I mentioned, and then those tasks, a lot of times require many steps. Even with the out-of-the-box administration tools. So it might also include the difficult time-intensive steps you must take to just give users the appropriate amount of access, as well as providing users with the appropriate data, the appropriate content at the right time, regarding the content that they need to do their jobs. It also might include trying to find more ways to optimize Web Center content so that it performs well, and helping to exceed the customer expectations. Failing to do this, however, leads to unhappy users that just simply might start avoiding the system, which then may cause some pressure on you from upper management to just make it work better. So all these things can really make an admin's life pretty miserable. So, and for our discussion today, digging into how Admin Suite for Oracle Web Center can help. Well, first off, Admin Suite is a comprehensive offering that includes Fishbowl's most popular standalone components for Web Center automation. Admin Suite includes components for batch loading, workflow automation, content subscriptions and notifications, as well as security integration between your enterprise security system and WebCenter. All these components really come together to form Admin Suite. And each of these components provides a configuration through an intuitive interface that really helps you configure it to the specifics of your organization and your use case. With a few simple rules and settings, these components then deliver that value-add functionality that can remove some of the burden that you currently have to administer WebCenter content, including the repetitive tasks that you may be performing today. But you may be asking yourself, are all the components that make up Admin Suite, are they all necessary? What if I just needed to streamline my workflows, for example, in WebCenter? Well, all the components that comprise Admin Suite can be purchased individually. However, if your organization is rolling out, for example, a new WebCenter content implementation and looking for that comprehensive admin tool package to expedite that implementation and streamline the maintenance going forward, Admin Suite might be a good fit there. If you're doing a version upgrade, if you're looking to integrate third-party content into WebCenter as well as check-in content from those third-party systems, Admin Suite all can help with those particular use cases. Or if your organization has expanded its WebCenter use cases, perhaps other departments have adopted WebCenter and your number of users is going up and increasing rapidly, Admin Suite can help there as well. Really providing the ways for you to leverage information from all your systems to integrate your security and secure that content in WebCenter, and then help your users get access to that content. So Admin Suite contains all the necessary components to do all this, and I'll cover each of those components in more detail later. First, I wanted to share an Admin Suite success story. So this company is a national research lab with hundreds of WebCenter users. Their content is very restricted, and it's restricted by the user, actually at the user level, the roles and groups. And so they need to ensure that only people with the proper credentials and access can get to the content that they need, that they're only viewing the content that they have access for. The problem with their initial implementation and the way they were doing it was that when they needed to make any changes to the security and access, any of those changes needed to be made, and a request had to be sent through their infrastructure group to make those changes. And really that meant that any time a new user came on board, their access to content was severely delayed. Furthermore, they were having to maintain security settings in both WebCenter content and their Oracle identity management system, which to them seemed like overkill. So they wanted a way to streamline that overall security management, but then ensure that the users get access to the content they needed faster. And then really being able to, again, as a heavily regulated organization, make sure that they were in compliance, so that generate reports, ensuring that the users they could easily see which users had access to the appropriate content. So the security component of Admin Suite really helped reduce the number of groups required in their security directory by simply creating rules that were used to map permissions based on a combination of group memberships and user attributes. As I mentioned, with a heavily regulated organization, they were able to generate those reports now to see who had access to what, and they're also able to sync user information and WebCenter content, so users are available, or sync that user directory information over to WebCenter content so that those users are available for selections and lists. So all those troubles led to, their security troubles led them to purchase Admin Suite. Again, you might be asking yourself if they have just purchased Fishbowl's component that streamlines security, and the answer to that is yes. But for this organization, in talking to them, they liked the fact that Admin Suite was comprehensive, that would help them continue to grow their WebCenter system. And when automation gains were needed in other areas, as they thought about their roadmap for content loading, batch loading, workflow, and notifications, they would then have the tools to use them. So I have a few slides on what makes up Admin Suite. For the next section of the webinar, I'll cover the individual components in more details. And so with that, we'll start with Enterprise Batch Loader. Taking a look at some of the problems, first of all, that organizations are facing with integrating content throughout their organizations. One of the most prevalent problems is the amount of different and disconnected data sources that organizations have. Data and content created by ERP systems, CRM systems, and CAD systems. It's really difficult to integrate those systems and link that data and content between them. With all these systems, this really means that users spend a lot of time just looking for information. They're not always sure what system they should be accessing to find the data they need. And really, it's that inability to find the data they need which means that they have delayed decision-making processes. They don't have the content to support a decision that might need to be made, so they can't make that decision. And lastly, we're all really left with these silos of information that doesn't get adequately shared across an organization. So the problems I've all mentioned here continue really to proliferate in most organizations today. An enterprise batch loader as a part of Admin Suite can really help with content loading problems. It's a value-added Oracle Web Center component that provides that robust content loading capability. It's intended to be installed and run on a server, and it utilizes a preprocessor capability to really be a standalone product to watch folders, create files, and then load them into Oracle Web Center content. It can also be configured to load content into workflow so that the correct review and approvals are facilitated. And it was really designed to help integrate that third-party data. I mentioned the many data sources that exist in an organization, really being able to take that data, create the necessary file formats to load that data and content into Web Center, and then map any metadata. So by using Enterprise Batch Loader, organizations will be able to consolidate and then really centralize their high-value enterprise information into Web Center. And really, Batch Loader fits pretty distinct use cases, which I'll cover here in the next slide. But those use cases include ERP integrations, CAD integrations, large volume migrations, and document imaging. So by providing that robust integration point to connect those multiple systems and store that content in Web Center, really Enterprise Batch Loader is able to consolidate that information and expedite access. So I mentioned the use cases on the ERP side, ERP systems like JD Edwards, PeopleSoft, and PeopleSoft with Web Center, by taking information from those systems produce and really moving it into Web Center. It's also able to integrate CAD systems, which produce large files containing drawings, schematics. The key with those systems, the key with those enterprise integrations is really being able to expedite access to the information that typically cannot be served up from an enterprise-wide perspective. Access to those systems is really heavily restricted. Not all users have access to those systems, but they need the content that exists in those systems. So moving it into an enterprise content management system like Web Center just kind of helps distribute the access across an organization. It's also commonly used to consolidate information for large volume content migrations and document imaging versions when, for example, hard copy documents are mailed out but imaged before they leave the office. Enterprise Batch Loader in that example can help convert those images to PDFs. So organizations with those business problems, integration needs like this manufacturer of control valves and regulators have all turned to Enterprise Batch Loader. For this particular customer, they had the problem of integrating their Oracle E-Business Suite system with their CAD system, consolidating that information and moving it to Web Center. With Enterprise Batch Loader today, they were able to integrate those systems and serve that content up to Web Center, which led to increased information sharing across the organization. So how does it all work? Well, the component sits on top of Web Center. It includes a preprocessor component which can be customized. The preprocessor is really configured to watch a directory on the server where a third-party system like a CAD or ERP system would output an XML file, a text file. It really watches that folder, reads the contents of the folder, and files in that watch directory, converts them to the necessary format, and then checks that into Oracle Web Center content. Batch Loader is then invoked to read the batch load file and take the appropriate action specified by the preprocessor. This typically means that it's going to take the metadata specified in the batch load file and check that native file that designated file into Oracle. So this end-to-end process is really the standalone component that once it's set up and configured can kind of run on its own. So let's quickly summarize the benefits of Enterprise Batch Loader. Well, the first and foremost, it will help organizations consolidate information from many sources and into Oracle Web Center, and then really leverage that central repository. Also requires minimal administration, so you won't need to log into Web Center each time you want to use it. You can simply configure it to run and watch a directory for files. Also highly configurable, so the preprocessor can be configured to read and convert XML files, text files, and other files into this batch load file required to load that content into Web Center. And overall, getting that content into one system quickly and easily will help your organization increase or really further leverage the value of Oracle Web Center content. So with that, let's move on to talk about the next component of Admin Suite, and that's Workflow Solution Set. So you've got your content into Oracle WebCenter content now. So now what? So if you want to look to leverage workflows, what's the next step? How can you extend the functionality that's included? But first, let's take a little look at some of the problems that organizations have with workflows today, especially the workflows in WebCenter content, these content-based workflows. Well, many times workflow is thought to be too complex, so the companies just don't use it, or they don't use it as much as it actually can be used or utilized. So companies also looking for a complete comprehensive audit trail for workflow can't find one. So such things as saving, accept, or reject comments can't be included in the audit. And for those that may be using them, it's still really hard to have a real-time view into which step the workflow is currently in. So if they don't have insight into those steps, then they turn to email to ask questions about the request or content that they may be looking to publish or revise. And really all this leads to is the inability to further leverage WebCenter. And one of its most powerful features, which is its content-based workflows. And these workflows are included as a feature in the product, and not being able to fully leverage them probably means that organizations aren't able to fully realize their investment in WebCenter. So as an overview, Workflow Solution Set can help solve some of those business problems. It includes out-of-the-box workflow capabilities. And really, Fishbowl looked at filling some of the functionality gaps in workflow and provide this value-add workflow component. Provides a simple user interface for configuring its 9 combined components, which are listed on the right there. And so overall, with Workflow Solution Set, organizations are not only able to streamline the workflow implementations, but also improve the overall user experience of workflows. So I want to share a success story with Workflow Solution Set. So this company, which is a national newspaper company, they were having problems with workflows that they had currently built out, and so they turned to Workflow Fishbowl to not only talk about Workflow Solution Set, but some of our value-added workflow services that we provide. We met with the customer. Their use case was the capital expenditure request, and what they really needed to do was better define their process for that request, and then provide notification to the reviewer. So Fishbowl leveraged our Workflow Solution Set component. We were really able to bring the workflow process together in an easy way, in this easy-to-use interface for configuration, and provide this dashboard view into their capital expenditure request forms and workflow. This dashboard helps the customer really see where the form is in the workflow process, and then be able to attach related documents to the workflow. Also being able to comment on those steps in the workflow, really see and participate in any of that inline discussion that was occurring, and then provide those options that they were looking for to approve, reject, or redraw that form from workflow. So all forms and the workflow revisions are then made available in WebCenter, and then can be found through search. We made it even easier for them. We created this capital expenditure request interface where users can search on metadata associated with those requests. And then we also designed the search results interface to encourage that easier viewing and adoption of that new process. So some of the results, they've been able to kind of remove some of the burden of IT for maintaining that earlier implementation, and also reduce the amount of time the executives that were really driving this project were spending on deciding how and where to spend their money for the next project they were looking for. Being able to reduce the cost of this process alone has helped them to be able to spend money elsewhere. And an additional benefit is that the Treasury Department can quickly report on where money is being spent, because all the information is stored in WebCenter. So having that dashboard, having this data, having that all stored in WebCenter has really helped this organization save time and money. So we talked about some of the workflow gaps and workflow problems that organizations have, and how Fishbowl and its Workflow Solution Set with its 9 features really help fill those gaps. But really the true value for Workflow Solution Set is that it really helps organizations further extend the out-of-the-box workflow capabilities of WebCenter. This includes helping the admins administer the workflows. They have that intuitive interface to really help with configuration. And all these features really combine to increase the overall insight that organizations would have then within their workflows, ensuring that they're functioning efficiently, bottlenecks can be easily identified, but while being able to really have that audit trail, that full audit trail of all the workflows. So if you haven't started working with workflows yet in WebCenter, if you already have and are looking to do more, workflow solution set as part of Admin Suite can really help you with that. So our next component that we're going to talk about is Subscription Notifier. And with that, again, let's take a look at some of the business problems that this component addresses. I'm sure all of us have heard or seen statistics at how fast content is growing in organizations. Organizations today, we're all managing terabytes of content, and really the key to managing that content is ensuring that the most relevant information gets shared with customers, prospects, and partners. If we look at the example of content on a website, be it an internet or intranet, companies of all shapes and sizes continue to be challenged with knowing what content needs to be updated and by whom. And it's not knowing this that the process of updating this content does not get done, which can lead to poor performance, search engine optimization performance, and adoption. So companies also struggle to provide the key stakeholders with that timely content that they need to do their job. So a lot of times the content gets created in an organization, it's done somewhat in a vacuum, departments are not well connected, and then multiple locations really make it difficult to know what high-value content is being created. And so we all have a million things to do. We want to know, without knowing that a piece of content or collateral exists, or perhaps we're unable to find it. We've all seen instances where multiple people create that same asset or reference an out-of-date version. Some other challenges that organizations have is not having enough forewarning and the inability really to track when content is about to expire. Organizations aren't always sure who the content owners are or who the reviewers are for an item, so they really are. It can't be a systematic process to proceed with content updates, and so instead they perform them in an ad hoc fashion, causing inefficiencies. So Subscription Notifier can help with that, with those business problems, by enabling organizations to build out business rule-based content tracking and really extend upon the notification expiration feature that is already part of Oracle Web Center content. These rules are easy to build. Again, a friendly UI. Part of these rules include sending email notifications for users to review, update content when new versions have been checked in, or when content is set to expire. It's much more than just a rule-based notification system, though. It also has the ability to invoke side effects. One quick example of that is its ability to send items into a workflow, asking users to update the content, archive it, or delete it. Another example would be, in this example we've probably all experienced, where we check items into the content server, it gets stuck in gen www. Perhaps there's a problem with the refinery. So one side effect that you could enable with Subscription Notifiers, it could trigger a resubmit into the system of that content item, which then helps alleviate that issue of being stuck in gen www. So with that brief overview and use cases, I also wanted to share a success story with that product, and that success is happening at Navteq. Navteq is having success with the product for policy and procedure management. Navteq develops navigation and location-based services, and it's really their maps that help power automotive navigation through these portable devices. So like many companies, Navteq has disaster recovery plans in place in case of natural disasters and the like. So in their case, they had over 150 different plans, making the overall management time-consuming and tedious. They really wanted to be able to establish review cycles based on the document type for their different plans. And then they also wanted to establish multi-review process across the different departments. So since they've implemented Subscription Notifier, Navteq has been able to automate their plan review process, really allowing them to manage hundreds of plans with just a few subscriptions. This time savings alone has helped them and has been the biggest benefit they've realized. They've been able to reduce risk as well, ensuring that once plans have went through that final review, they can no longer be modified. And lastly, they've been able to ensure that action is taken by configuring alerts all the way down to the 24th hour before content expiration. Quick summary on the benefits for Subscription Notifiers. So simple yet powerful notification and subscription component. It really supports multiple use cases, contract management, policy and procedure management, and so on. It can really help organizations keep content fresh and new and provide that visibility into the overall creation process. I mentioned a little bit about side effects. It includes that, being able to trigger workflows, change security, update external databases, and really overall can help organizations that are using notification of expiration currently in WebCenter experience that additional value of this email-based notification based on simple business rules. So the last component I'm going to cover as part of Admin Suite is Advanced User Security Mapping. So if we take a look at the problems with security management in WebCenter, including a long on-ramp or delay to get users the correct permissions to start accessing content. So typically users must first log into the system, then their access settings need to be manually created. And then going forward, the overall security administration can be quite daunting. So in that case example, integrating LDAP, Active Directory or single sign-in solutions with WebCenter, not being able to automatically populate users in Oracle WebCenter content for those systems, you might have a lot of steps to actually make that happen. And with the more groups having to be created and maintained, which really creates a complex security structure, overall performance can be impacted. So, and then really lastly, not being able to quickly validate user and group access, as well being able to quickly deny access to content can lead to risks of non-compliance. So Awesome can help with all these business problems. It really helps bridge the gap between Oracle Web Center content security and your enterprise security model. It includes a powerful rules engine, an interface where these rules can be created. It also extends upon the core Web Center content, LDAP, and AD integration to interpret additional directory information, including user attributes, organizational units, and group membership to really define access to content. A success story here with Awesome. This company, a medical device manufacturer, they manage all the collateral supporting their offering, their various offerings in Web Center content. They need this content to be highly available yet secure. With users across the globe, they need to provide the appropriate level of access to the content, and that was taking them a significant amount of time to do that. In most cases, groups or rules needed to be manually created for each Web Center user based on their LDAP attributes, and this really put a burden back on the administrator to properly grant or deny that access, as well as set the appropriate access levels. And again, heavily regulated organization. The manual security provisioning process caused content access delays and was not auditable. So they really needed it to be more to have more of an audit trail. And then lastly, they were rolling out a mobile content management system using iPads to their global sales force, and they wanted to be able to access that collateral, make sure that the users could access that collateral from Web Center on their iPads, and that meant that also by pushing out that content to the iPads, the amount of Web Center users was really set to increase by the thousands. So they needed a system to help them automate Web Center content security and provide users with more immediate access. So they turned to Fishbowl's Awesome, or Advanced User Security Mapping, to map LDAP attributes, groups, and organizational units to Web Center roles, accounts, or aliases, and it's all based on their username. These capabilities really all came together then to provide that automation they needed to deploy their mobile content management system, which they did in January of 2011. So let's summarize the benefits of Awesome as well. Well, a first benefit is that companies will have simplified security models that leverage the benefits of LDAP, AD, or single sign-on solutions and Web Center content. And then by using such features as synchronization, they can integrate security settings, preventing a lot of administrative overhead. Companies with complex security models have turned to Awesome if they're looking to create a single unified security structure that delivers the granularity that might be required for the various users and their geographic sites that they need to manage. The end result really is that it provides a simplified security model that enhances system performance. And going forward, companies have the capabilities to really create much more complex security models as they continue to grow and change. And then lastly, through security auditing, companies will have much more secure information. When this information is needed, they can retrieve it easily in minutes, but also ensure that the appropriate access is given to the users. Okay, so that really covered all the components of Admin Suite. Now I'm just going to summarize how all those components come together in this packaged offering. And starting off, I mentioned that there's a lot of challenges that admins face today. Admin Suite was specifically designed to package up our most popular and powerful Web Center automation tools to really help admins reduce their manual tasks and then optimize WebCenter system performance. In fact, most of the components can be installed and configured to run unattended and only be administered if a problem arises or if there's significant changes that need to be made. They've all come together really to help admins, in this case, feel empowered to administer the product to the best of their ability. So to summarize, the benefits of Admin Suite: it can help you save time by reducing the amount of tasks you have to perform. It can help increase system performance, ensuring that user experiences are optimized, and then provide the necessary value-add security capabilities to secure the content and ensure that it can be accessed as quickly as possible, while also providing that necessary level of reporting and audit trails for compliance and reports to upper management. And overall, it can help organizations as a packaged offering to really decrease the time to value for their Oracle Web Center implementations and use case. And so one final benefit is the combined cost of all these tools really in the Admin Suite package is less expensive than purchasing the components individually. So I've raised this question a couple times in the webinar. The components I discussed can all be purchased individually or separately, but combined as one package, it actually provides more value to you if you were to just purchase them all separately. So we're actually offering a package solution that's less expensive than the individual components combined. So before I wrap it up, I wanted to share one more success story with Admin Suite. This is a government organization that is tasked with ensuring that the rural and agricultural departments and processes function as they should and really promote farming and agriculture to the communities. They had just deployed a new version or just deployed Oracle Web Center content, and they had thousands of security relationships that they felt they needed to maintain. They looked at that, contacted Fishbowl. They thought, if we're going to do it this way, it's probably going to take us months. We need to get the system up and running, get users access to the content. But they were unsure of the best method to really provide that access control between Web Center content and their LDAP system. So again, security, the thoughts around security really helped drive them to Admin Suite. Looking at their initial implementation, they wanted to help them secure the content quickly and easily. So that's what drove them. But then going forward, really being able to, as they looked at workflows and building out workflows, really the other value-add components that Admin Suite provides, they're going to be able to, as those needs arises, be able to address them accordingly. But overall, on the security side, their configuration time was dramatically decreased. A few simple rules were able to be created to comprehensively handle the security access issues. And then really, their goal was to meet a go-live date in May of this year, and they were able to do that, whereas before they were thinking they weren't going to be able to meet their go-live date. And with those simple rules created with the security component of Admin Suite, they were able to do that. So that's going to wrap up today's webinar as I covered the various components of Admin Suite. This webinar was recorded, as I mentioned earlier. In fact, this was our last webinar in a series of summer webinars that we did, starting with some of the individual components that are included in Admin Suite. All those recordings can be found on Fishbowl's website, and I have the link here. We are past the half hour, so if there were any questions asked, we will take those offline. But if you're looking for more information on Admin Suite, we have a full page dedicated to it on our website. So if you go to our website at fishbowlsolutions.com and go to the Admin Suite product page, you can find more information about the product or any of our products that Fishbowl provides. You can go to our website. If you want specific information on Admin Suite quickly, you can email us at info@fishbowlsolutions.com or call us at 952-465-3400. So I want to thank you for attending today's webinar as I discuss Fishbowl's Admin Suite for Oracle Web Center content. We hope that you found the webinar informative and that if you have any further questions, you will follow up with us. If not, we will hope to have you on our next webinar. Please look for more information about our webinars on our website as well. Thanks again for attending. Have a great day.